Yes. Toshi.
Hi.
Hi. It hasn't been too long since I saw you, has it?
Like,
About a month or
5 weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, right now we are at AWA here in Atlanta. First day of our con. And by the way, everybody, this is Toshi.
Hi.
We love Toshi. And yes, he is with Bandai.
Yes, Bandai.
Not Viz.
Not Viz. No, not anymore.
Yay.
Who is this Viz you speak of?
I
I don't remember.
That's for you to tell me.
Yeah. Some company I may or may not have worked for 12 years before being shown the door.
Slaved over.
I don't know.
Yeah, and just got kind of... Now...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worked on a few shows back then, yeah.
Yeah, now thinking back to that, and before then, how did you first get into the world of anime?
Well, world of anime in the U.S. Let's see. Back then, there was a little organization called the Cartoon Fantasy Organization, CFO. And they used to have this $3 newsletter that used to be like 10 pages of Xeroxed, paper that gave anime synopsis.
Oh, okay.
And we thought, they're charging $3 for 10 Xerox pages.
That's a load of
Yeah.
crap.
So we just sort of said, you know what? We could put a color cover on it, make it really fancy, lay it out, in nice layout programs, and we're going to sell it for $3. And that was the birth of Animag, which was like the first
Nice.
semi-professional fanzine animation magazine in the U.S.
Okay.
And we did that for a number of years, starting, 87-ish.
Yeah, that's a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's a little while ago, yes. And we did that for like 5 years and got a total of maybe 15 issues out.
Wow. Not bad.
But, at the time, we were very ahead of the times.
Ahead of the times. You were...
I mean, even a Japanese magazine said that, where do they get this information? They use the CIA? Because we had information on Gunbuster before, because we had friends at Gainax way back then. We got information on Gunbuster before a lot of the Japanese animation magazines had gotten them. So
Wow.
it was like we had the scoop in the
Wait a
U.S.
minute. How did this happen? We need to find these people.
And then shortly after that, like any organization, it kind of collapses in on itself, gets a little political, whatnot. So we all decided to move on.
Okay.
And the now president of Viz, or former president of Viz, came to me and said, hey, we're thinking of doing an animation magazine. You know anyone that can help us do it?
No, not at all.
And I said, and that's his way of saying, do you want a job?
And basically that's how you got started?
No, then I said, no,
Okay.
I'm not an editor. But my now wife, then girlfriend, was the editor of Animag, said she'd be perfect. So she got a job at Viz.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I started getting a bunch of freelance gigs. A year later, when I was at the office, the then president said, you know what, we're thinking of starting a video department. You know anyone that can do it? And I said, you know what, I could probably think of somebody. Yeah, and all of a sudden I went from a freelance translator of manga and, doing subtitle work for like the early animation companies like LA Hero and such, to being the video producer at Viz.
Oh.
And the first show I got to work on was Rama 1/2.
I knew that.
And I did that for 8 years of my life.
8 long
years. Yes.
Yeah. Now,
okay.
That was your first.
That's my first answer to the first question. That took several minutes.
And wait, it took number 2 and 3.
3, yeah. Yeah.
Now, how did anime evolve over all of those years?
Anime, well, I mean, technology-wise, it's gone. Everything's all digital and pretty. Mm-hmm. I kind of miss like the dust specks that you used to see, and the warmth that it had. Everything is so digital and digital blurring and everything. It just feels kind of too mechanical to me.
Okay.
I miss it. I think dubbing techniques have improved a lot.
Oh yeah.
I look at some of my early works and I go, wow.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was good back then.
Yeah, not so much anymore.
But yeah, I'm glad to see it. I mean, there are still plenty of ones out there that I think could be better.
Yes.
We'll not point any fingers at anybody. No.
But we know what, yeah.
Because I'm sure some people have the same opinion about my work. So, that being said, everything is improving, getting bigger. Things kind of plateaued, and I'm not going to go into the other problems the industry's having. So let's move on to the next question.
All right. Now, well, we ended to changing. You're pretty good at working from one question to another.
I just seem to
What
do it.
challenges did you run into when you worked with Viz?
Challenges? Well, for Rama, trying to get all the jokes into English was fun. Deciding on move names, whether to translate them or not and whatnot. But that's part of your job, trying to figure out what works in English. So, there's always challenges, whether it's creative or political because of licensing issues or whatnot, or trying to get it out on DVD. Who knows? It's all part of doing
the
any
business.
job.
Yeah. Now, you worked on quite a few titles for Viz.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your favorites?
Well, I mean, anything Rinko Takahashi is definitely a favorite. Rama 1/2 did that for 8 years.
8 years.
I did Inuyasha for 5.
Yes.
And yeah, those are my two main titles that, and then
That
all
stick
the
out.
that stick out. Fatal Fury series was fun, and Maison Ikoku for the first half of the show that I got to work on. I love everything I do. It's like asking, who's your favorite kid?
You can't do that.
You may have one, but you're not allowed to say.
Well, yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean there. Now, convention-wise,
Yes.
we were just kind of discussing conventions that have bombed and crashed over the years.
Yes, there's been a few.
What are some of memories or memorable times, good times, bad times, stories that you have from one of those cons?
Well, I mean, there's so many. I've been doing cons since, 89? So, it's been a while.
You're getting up there, yeah.
Yeah, getting up there, yes.
Quite a few
And a lot of those shows are no longer around. There's some shows that are still around that I had some fun memories of, but probably not good to talk about. But
Not on camera. This is a family show, remember?
Family show,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And I will self-edit myself. At one of the conventions, now defunct, I got to
Okay.
meet a Hollywood star. I wouldn't say superstar, star. Martial arts, very well known. Got a revival recently and everything. Likes to play the flute, whatnot. Will not mention any names. We got divided into groups to have visitations with this actor because
Okay.
he wouldn't just come and hang with us. We had to go visit him in his room.
Somebody's pretty cocky, huh?
And sort of, we had to go in groups. And then he would have audiences with us. And I'll never forget the first words that he spoke to me.
Okay.
Looked at me right in my face, just sort of cocked his eye, took a swig of his whiskey, and says, "What are you, some kind of bleeping illegal alien?" And I just sort of stared back at him. And not explaining the rest of the story makes this story better.
Okay. You might have to explain the rest of the story to me later.
Yes.
Okay.
Possibly.
But, yeah.
When you explain a story, it
It
loses all the...
some of it, but still, it's like leaves you tongue-tied.
Yeah, I know.
For,
What do you say after that?
I don't know what I would say. Yeah, you definitely have me speechless there. Now, let me see here. What are some projects that you're working on now, or some projects and events that you have coming up in the future that you can tell us about?
Well, I'm currently working on Ghost Slayer Ayashi. That's going to start coming out next year. I'm working on Gren Lagann, which is now on TV on Sci-Fi Network or
that's a
Sci-Fi
high
Channel.
pitch.
And hoping we'll get the movies.
That would be good.
And
Cross our
there
fingers.
is one show that's sort of in the works.
But we can't talk about it.
Of course I can't talk about it. But one of the ideas
Okay.
is to have a simultaneous release on TV. The
Really?
day it airs in Japan, it will air in the U.S.
Oh, that would be so cool.
We're trying to do it dubbed. I don't know if that's logistically possible, but in the least case, I want to do it subbed. Sort of would
That'd be cool.
take the impetus off of certain groups
Okay.
if it's available on TV the day it comes out on Japan.
That would be really cool.
I hope it happens as a dub. I hope something happens.
Okay.
I hope we get the rights.
That'd be awesome. That'd be so awesome.
It's all in the works. I can't talk about it, but it could happen as early as next year.
Really?
Yeah, January next year, possibly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really next year?
Yeah.
All right.
This is like a show that's maybe starting recording in October in Japan.
Ooh.
for January air date. So,
well, best of
Possibly.
luck with that. That'd be awesome.
I might have given too much information away.
No,
Who
that's
knows?
okay. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not saying a word.
Funny.